So without further ado, I'll hand over to Ryan for the presentation.
Great. Hopefully this works okay. Nick, thank you so much. I'm excited to be here. Super delighted. I met several folks here, Victoria, Daniel, Tia, and Will, so great audience. Thank you, Adam Perry, for having me here. I really appreciate that. Today's topic is the best lead generation tactics to increase conversions by 3.5%. As Nick mentioned, I'm Ryan Shefke, and here's what you're going to learn today. Hopefully I don't block the TV monitor. You're going to learn three things. Number one, new trends for lead generation at events. Number two, you're going to learn how to increase engagement. That's kind of the buzzword these days, right? Engagement. And then number three, if you have the mindset of an exhibitor or an organizer, we're going to talk about how you can increase revenue. Let me give you a little bit about me. I'm from the US, in Texas, and yes, it's the second largest state in the US. You can tell by my accent, I guess, right? I'm the CEO of Captello. I'm also the author of the Ultimate Guide to Lead Capture, which I'll help you download a little bit later on. And I'm super pumped because I got to go to my first Premier League game where I saw West Ham United and Leicester City. So that was super fun, except they didn't win. So let me break down this session. When I think about the topic, which again is best lead generation tactics to increase conversions by 3.5%, or 3.5 times, excuse me, not 3.5%. That wouldn't be that good. Conversions, what does that really mean? Let's break that down. When I think about it, I think about getting attendees, everybody that flows in or delegates. How do we convert them to be stand visitors? We call it a booth in the US, but I use stand here to appease everybody. So how do we get those attendees to be stand visitors? Number two, how do we get those stand visitors to be leads? Okay? And then the most important part is how do we turn those leads into revenue? Okay? Those are the conversions that I'm referring to. Here's my first point. Lead generation is a strategy, okay? It's imperative that we work with our exhibitors if we're organizing events, and we coach exhibitors. I feel like there's a big sort of misunderstanding. You know, a lot of exhibitors come to events. What do you think they care about? They care about generating leads, generating revenue, ultimately. Okay, we need to help them. And also exhibitors have to have that mindset. So we need to do a better job. I'm going to use a very simple analogy because lead capture, what exhibitors use to collect their leads and to turn these attendees into revenue. I'm going to use an analogy of cars. I'm showing a Fiesta. Believe it or not, this is the #1 car in the UK on the road. There's 1.54 million Fiestas around there. But you've got a Fiesta. It's kind of what we're used to, right? It's the existing way of driving. Well, here's a Tesla, and it's a Model Y. I'm actually fortunate enough to own one of these, and I bought one 5 months ago. But before I bought one, I drove the other cars. And I'm telling you, when I got in that car, I was like, wow, I can't believe what I'm driving. I'm never going back. So the analogy here is we've got to put the best lead generation and lead capture capabilities in our exhibitors' hands. Because when they have it, they never want to go back, okay? And the de facto is just, hey, whatever the show gives you. And that's not good enough. That's the Fiesta. So what's the impact of disparate lead capture? You might not know this, but there's a concept called ULC, or Universal Lead Capture, okay? I'm going to use this example. This is me arriving last week here in the UK from Texas, and I came into Russell Square. And I had to find my way around, right? I had to figure out how to get from point A to point B. Well, how could I do that? I could download this particular TFL Go app, and I could figure out which, Elizabeth line and do this and that, and where should I go. So I could download that from the App Store. That's the map for getting around London. Or I could download, if I go to New York, I could download the New York app, right? But what did I do? I used one system, which is Google Maps, and it's consistent for me. So wherever I go, London, New York, Australia, I can open up Google Maps. From an exhibitor perspective, they could be using universal lead capture. That's a premium option for exhibitors. That's like the Google Maps, where they could have one system to capture their leads wherever they go, at any time, anywhere around the event, and every person can have that lead capture in their pocket. No matter what you need to capture. Here, for example, when I get a business card, guess where it's going? It's going in my pocket. Yes, I'm staying at the travel lodge, but it goes back to the travel lodge. And I have to figure out how to get it in my system later on. If I had a good lead capture app, I could take pictures of that business card. They'd be transcribed. They'd be in my system. It's about being a little more organized, right? Having that consistency. By the way, I didn't mention, but on the top right here, it's a soccer field, a football field. I know my assistant would be mad at me if I said soccer. But these are the tactics, okay? Remember, best tactics for lead generation. So this is tactic number 2. We need to make sure, as exhibitors and as organizers, we do our best job thinking outside of the box or outside of the show floor. Oftentimes we think about, okay, I need to capture leads. Well, it's just going to be here during exhibition hours, right? Well, the best exhibitors already know everybody that comes to meet them at the exhibit because they've done communication beforehand, right? I'm showing you a before and after. That's the same guy, believe it or not. But not just during the event. Do things before the event, right? Email campaigns, run competitions, whatever you can before the event to draw people to your event, okay? And I was talking to Daniel over there on the left, who's an organizer, and he agrees. Our job organizing events is we got to fill the house. We got to get a lot of people here, get them in the door. The organizer can help, but give the exhibitors the tools and the capabilities and the ideas, the strategy to also get people here, right? We need to do marketing before the event. And then after the event, it's about good follow-up as well, right? We want people to come back and have these repeat attendees. Another idea here is, we need to encourage our exhibitors to focus on the right priority, and that is, again, revenue, right? All of the people here that are exhibiting, there's a marketing person, there's an event coordinator. They all report up into the CMO or the Chief Revenue Officer or the CEO, okay? And what do they care about? At the end of the day, they care about revenue. This is a typical list of what an exhibitor does when they prep for a show. It's obviously abbreviated. I build my booth, I get my collateral, I create my team. And then the last thing, what is it? Oh, I need lead retrieval. I do it the day before, okay? We got to flip it. We have to think about what is the most important thing, and that is I need to make sure I can capture my leads and convert that to revenue. So that should be priority number 1. And if you have universal lead capture, right, the Google Maps of the world, you already have that in your pocket. You go into the show, the event, it's already ready. It's there for you, okay? You don't have to download new stuff. Tactic number 3 on the top left. Switch it up and move over here. You got to have a process as an exhibitor. Process is super important. You got to have a process to multiply those leads by 3.5 times. Here's a picture of a person with boxes. Well, he could carry these boxes, from point A to point Z and get them there, right? But it's a lot better if you're organized and you have a process, right? You systemize your lead generation. Every exhibitor should have a system. And how do you go about that? Number one, if you are an exhibit manager or coordinator or marketing person, rule number one, talk to your team. What data do we want to collect? Where do we want to send that data? Where should that information go? What system, right? What should our follow-up be? You got to talk to your team. The fourth tactic, okay, is making sure we qualify our leads. Now, I'm sure you've heard about that. Yeah, we got to qualify our leads, but how many exhibitors collect leads? Oh, I got 100 leads, 200 leads. They're probably really not leads. They're just names, you know. How many scans did you get? Who cares, right? You got to qualify the leads. There's good leads, there's bad leads. How do you qualify? You qualify in two ways. Number one, objectively, okay? In sales, we talk about BANT, budget, authorization, need, timeline. But what's important for you to objectively qualify somebody? ICP, your ideal client profile. If you're an exhibitor, talk to your team. What does an ideal client look like to you? So that you can collect that information as an exhibitor on your forms when you scan your leads. The second way to qualify is subjectively, right? If I have a conversation in my stand with somebody and I could tell their emotion is super high, they're excited, they're enthralled, right? Oh my gosh, I gotta have this. This is amazing. I could put this in the form and this person might look like everybody else. But I've gotta subjectively qualify my leads, right? Is it urgent, cold, medium, hot? What else can I do to subjectively qualify them? Well, these are a couple things you could do, and this is tactic number 5 out of 10, halfway through. Here's an example of a lead capture form from a universal lead capture app. Well, the first thing you could do to subjectively qualify is record audio notes. You have a conversation, you step away, you hit the mic button, and you record. Oh my gosh, I met Victoria. She was amazing. She wants this really bad. She wants to set up a meeting. Listen to the inflection in my voice, the tone. When that lead gets passed off to my sales team, to Will and Tia, and they can go execute that and close the deal. That's really important, okay? The second thing you could do is schedule a meeting right there and then. How many times does a lead fall through the crack? You know, they leave, oh, I captured the lead. This is great. That's going to be a big deal. But the lead falls right through the cracks, right? Nobody follows up. Well, if it's urgent, schedule a meeting right there and then. Have everybody's calendar, your sales team, right on your phone. Great, you're booked. You have a meeting next Tuesday. They get an invite, they show up. Tactic number 6, and this is more of a tip. When you're exhibiting, or as an organizer, encourage your exhibitors. Get there early. Take a picture of your team in your booth. Take that picture, put it in your follow-up email. That way when you follow up, because that's important, right? Before the event, after the event, you've got your team. You become memorable, right? And make sure you know where that lead's going to go. Where are you going to put it in your system, right? Are you going to have a business development team doing follow-up? Are you going to put it into your CRM? Where's that going to go? The 7th tactic and important thing for exhibitors is measure revenue. Measure your ROI, your return on investment, okay? How many times do we talk about, oh, we exhibited, it was a great show, it was good. What really matters to the CEO, to the CMO? Your ROI. How much did you spend to get here? Your flights, your hotels, your meals. How much did the stand cost? Did you have to pay to speak? I didn't. I was invited. But you got to measure how many leads did you get? What was your cost per lead? What was your revenue? What's your return on investment as a percentage? Can you report that? Can your exhibitors report that? I hope so. If they can't, they need the right systems to do it. Here's the fun part. Expand ways to capture leads, right? Okay, great. Like, what's the standard process? You go to a trade show. Oh, where's the app? I download the app. I talk to exhibitors here. Networking, right? Partners for us. And they're like, yeah, I just figured out how to download the app. And it was like halfway through yesterday. That shouldn't happen, right? So be ready, but number one, equip every person on your team, from the person setting up your booth to your CEO. Everybody walking around, they need lead capture in their pocket for that business card, that badge, whatever you might need to capture. Have a kiosk in your booth. How many times do you think someone comes up? It's happened to me. I'm also an exhibitor here, not an attendee, but how many times does an attendee walk up and everybody's busy? That's good for you, but if they just, oh, too busy, I'll come back later, they're not coming back, right? So set up a little kiosk, right, where you can capture leads. They could scan their badge right on the kiosk. Have a little kiosk stand, self-service, okay? Touchless, have a QR code. They could scan the QR code. The same capture form shows up on their phone. Do that. And the fun part, literally fun, is, and here's the build-up. The pandemic taught us this, right? Pandemic, I think in this industry, in the events industry, typically it's an older age, and we weren't really used to, technology, and we're kind of set in our ways. And I think the pandemic really said, hey, Zoom meetings are okay. Virtual meetings, they're okay, but you could do them. You can pull off events. But it introduced technology for us, right? New ways to do things, and helped us innovate, okay? So we became a little more digital, which is a good thing, right? To complement what we typically do. So we need to engage attendees. We need to bring them in, okay? In our booth over there, we have a few of these. These are digital activations. I'm not referring to, a physical activation. You've seen it at events, the spin the wheel, the whack-a-mole, the plinko. There's digital versions of all of those that you could easily brand and customize and put them in your booth, right? It's a way to pull people in. Hey, do you want to play? Well, guess what? Come over here, play. You could win 500 euros or whatever it might be, quid. I don't know what you guys say. But guess what? I pulled you in. Now you came into my booth while you're doing this. What brought you here, right? Let's have a conversation, okay? It's a lot better than just trying to sell something right away, okay? So I'm going to give you a chance. I don't know how much time we have left, but if you have your phone, you actually could scan that. I'll wait like 20 seconds here. And you could play a whack-a-mole. 10 minutes remaining. Oh, we have plenty of time. And by the way, I have a 15, not dollars, 15, quid. Can I say quid? Is that? Okay, good. Thank you. I won't get kicked off. 15 quid gift card. So I want you to play this. Don't hit the bomb. Okay, you can tap everything that pops up. You just fill it out, hit everything that pops up, and then you get points for that, okay? And so whoever has the most points will win the 15 quid gift card. 5 Guys, that's in the US. That's not good. Pizza Hut, we have that. Real Greek. Chiquito. I don't know these things. So I see some people playing. I'll let you play. After you play the whack-a-mole, there's a survey, which I'll talk about in a second, but a survey will come up. And then there's also a leaderboard. So everybody scan that. While they're playing, I'm going to just talk about this real quick. This is number 10, so this is the final one. How events can engage stakeholders. Well, who are your stakeholders at an event? You've got your sponsors. You've got attendees. You've got exhibitors. These are all the stakeholders at an event. So you have sessions like this, right? What can you do at a session? Well, survey, which is now on your phone. You're taking a survey, right? I don't know if you've gone to other sessions and they've done surveys. Maybe it's part of the event, but collect data. I had a conversation with somebody, and he said, hey, I'm here to solve a problem. I said, what is that? He said, I'm doing surveys, I'm an organizer, but I need to collect all this data. I need to aggregate it. I need to make sense of it. You have all these people in one room, right? Ask them questions, learn from them, right? Do a survey, collect the data. Data is valuable because that allows you to market in the future and bring people back. You can deliver content in your sessions, right? There are easy ways to do that by showing a QR code delivering content. So that's all part of your sessions. How can you make your sessions better? In the exhibition, what can you do? Well, I mentioned these digital activations. You could spread them out across an event. You could have them in a booth. You could have them at the very front. People could take a photo, be on the wall, things like that. Attendee networking. I think it'd be really cool. I'm from the States. I don't know anybody. But it'd be neat if there was a way where I could network with attendees. You know, maybe a little two truths, one lie. Maybe some trivia. Who knows? Something like that. There should be those opportunities to network, right? Make it fun for people so they come back. A scavenger hunt. There's different things you could call this, but whether it's a treasure hunt, a scavenger hunt, a passport for prizes. I've seen all these different things. Some events they pass out a card and you have to go get stamps, you know. There are digital ways to do all of that, okay? Have these QR codes around an event. As an organizer, you're asking people, right, to take certain behaviors. Oh, I want you to go visit over here in this area. You go there, get some points when you do that. I want you to visit my flagship sponsor. You get some points for doing that. And then lead capture. Give them premium lead capture. Make them happy. Don't give them, oh, that's a good one. Don't give them crappy lead capture. Make them happy. I like that. So all of that's together around your exhibition. And the main thing, put a box around it all. Try to gamify, right? Gamification is a general word. But have some competition. Make it fun. Make it engaging. That's what we can do for events as a whole, okay? And then if you did play that whack-a-mole and you took that survey, you can scan that and a leaderboard will show up on your phone. My lovely assistant, Caltina, he likes Catalina better, but you could scan that, Emad, and see, we could see who's the winner. So why don't we do that so we can give away this gift card? And I think oh yeah. So who's the winner? Who could help me? Who is it? Is there a Maria? Maria, everybody, woo! Standing ovation. Congratulations, Maria. Okay. And then I'm offering this here. This is a free download. There's no email required, anything. The Ultimate Guide to Lead Capture. I authored that, so it's, I don't know, 5,000 pages, something like that. No, just kidding. But you can download that. It's free. Going once, going twice. Next. This is kind of cool. If you want to get ULC certified, right? Universal Lead Capture certified. Put that on your email signature. Put it on LinkedIn. There's a course. I'm happy to follow up and send this to everybody as well. And that is the last thing. We talked about all of this. So again, you got some ideas on how to get these attendees to visit your stand, how to turn them into leads, and how to generate revenue. If you want to scan that, if you have any questions, I'm super transparent. This is my phone number. That's a QR code which will open an email and it will say, hi, I went to your session. Can I ask you some questions? I'm happy to send you any of the material, any of the free tools we have, anything you need. Thank you, everybody, for listening. There's no other way with headphones on your ears. So thank you so much. Back to Nick.
Brilliant. Really good insight on lead capture. Thank you for that. We've got some questions here on the screen, and then we'll go to the audience if there are any others there. So I think there's one at the bottom here. The first one, if we go with the problem with the Google Maps analogy is that there is no app like Google Maps for lead capturing. That is the de facto standard. True or false?
Well, there are companies that do provide universal lead capture, such as us, Captello. So there are apps, you know, they're not free. I get Google Maps is free, but we do work with organizers and we work with exhibitors to provide them with the best premium lead capture so that they can have that Google Map-like experience. The cool thing as an organizer is when you give that to the exhibitor, they can continue to use it everywhere they go. Us, for example, we integrate with over 100 different registration providers, and so they could use our app, you know, wherever they go. It's universal.
Great, and then there's questions from the top down. I think we've got enough time, haven't we? We've got 4 minutes left. How important is content marketing to the contact after the initial meeting?
I think it's really important, but I think, don't just dump a bunch of content on an attendee, right? Oh, hey, give them, the standard set of 10 brochures. If I'm Glisser and I'm great company, but if I'm Glisser, and I'm exhibiting, I come up to you. You have multiple things, right, Nick, that you're promoting. So I don't maybe want everything. I might want certain things that might interest me. So whatever is important to me, send me just that, right? Be very specific in your follow-up. So content marketing is really important, but make it relevant, right? Listen to the people that come to your booth. What are their needs? And respond to those needs appropriately. So have a universal lead capture app that can select the right content and send an immediate follow-up. You can't do that today. You got to go home, organize your leads. Oh, crap, what did they want to know about? I forget. I can't remember. I had too many drinks, So make sure you can capture that information in the app and follow up.
Yeah, I think customized to their customer profile and their objectives rather than kind of mass marketing is really
Correct.
important.
Yeah.
Last few questions here. How do you attribute the value of brand awareness versus just leads from events where you exhibit? Because obviously if you're a new business and it's about generating awareness as much for your business, obviously you'll have specific metrics around measuring SQLs and SQOs. But how do you measure that broader, slightly intangible?
Yeah, so it says, how do you attribute the value? So brand awareness is certainly important. I think we talked to so many exhibitors, right, directly and then with organizers. Most of them are saying, I want to generate leads, right, and I want to generate revenue. But some companies, I remember, I think it was Cadence, they just wanted to, increase brand awareness. But why do they want to do that? Let's be real. They want to have their brand well known so that people buy, which is revenue. So that's another way of saying I want to generate revenue. It's a hard thing to measure, but certainly there are things you can do. Stova doing a great job over there with branding, but lots of ways you can, push brand awareness. I think one important thing, I talked about these digital activations or any other activation, make the experience memorable. I gave you a tip, take a picture of your booth and put that in your follow-up email, right, that your universal lead capture app can deliver. But make sure that the experience and your brand is memorable. So it goes back with them and it's on their desktop or in their pocket. That's where you want your brand.
But the last few questions, but before I do that, are there any questions from the audience?
Thank you very much for your talk. I just wanted to find out, when you have a flood of visitors after an event, what is the best time interval? Is it the first 1 week, the first 24 hours, the first 1 month to respond to every single visitor? Thank you.
Yeah, great question. First of all, right away. Immediately. And that's because everybody else, how many, Stova, who competes with Stova? There's probably multiple companies here, right? Your competition is on the show floor. Rule number 1 in sales, make your follow-up quick. And again, immediately have a universal lead capture app that can respond. Send a picture of you in the booth. Thank you for visiting. We really appreciate it. You'll get there before your competitors get there. That's rule number 1. And then obviously people are traveling. I'm going back to the States. I'll be back next week. I'll be at my desk on Monday. But then you do your personal follow-up, right? And make sure you have a system that can do the personal follow-up. It could be whoever you spoke to or you get it to the sales rep. So I think certainly within 3 to 5 days should be that more personal follow-up. But immediately you should do a follow-up to get that brand out there. So great question. Thank you. Yeah. We are. Yeah, D22. D is in dog, 22. Yeah. Yeah, and you have a little card on your seat there. You would get a free activation with the purchase of Universal Lead Capture. So thank you, everybody, for attending. And again, thanks, Nick and Glisser, for hosting here. Appreciate it. And Tag.